Kia ora, good evening. Fonterra has lifted its forecast payout for farmers at the same time announcing a rise in profit. The forecast payout for the 2012 to 13 season is now $6.12 for a fully shared farmer. The higher forecast was on the back of a strong first half performance, which saw net profit after tax increase 33%. Fonterra Chairman John Wilson says the new forecast reflects a recovery in global dairy commodity prices over the past 2 months. The cooperative says the strong interim earnings are unlikely to be repeated in the second half, with challenges including ongoing market volatility and increased competition. A multi-million-dollar primary school is to be built near Queenstown to help cater for the Wakatipu Basin's growing population. Government plans to open the $14 million primary school in 2015. The school will be located at the Shotover development adjacent to Lake Hayes Estate and will cater for year 1 to 8 students. Education Minister Hekia Parata says there were around 1,635 primary age pupils in the area in July 2012, and that's expected to grow to around 2,400 by 2020. The proposed school will take pressures off neighbouring schools, including Remarkable's primary school, which opened just 3 years ago. Consultation will now take place. Southland District Council today agreed to a rates rise of more than 4% to residents. At a council meeting this afternoon, councillors approved a rates increase of 4.25% proposed in council's draft annual plan. Council cut that increase back from the 5.11% previously outlined in its long-term plan, saying the drop was made in light of the economic environment. Proposed cost savings were made by budget managers. The Regional Heritage Fund rate has been cut, and accelerated harvest of forestry is offsetting some cost. Young Southlander Sam Powell was today recognised for his bravery at a special awards presentation. The 21-year-old was awarded the Royal Humane Society of New Zealand Bronze Medal by Southland District Mayor Frana Cardno this afternoon. The awards are presented to individuals in recognition of acts of bravery or humanity. Sam's award recognises his attempts to rescue the driver of a submerged car in the Mataura River in December 2011. The young truck driver was driving the Tokanui Gorge Road when he came upon an accident and rushed to help. He was very surprised by the recognition.
Thank you. Yeah.
Quite shocked really that I actually get an award for this. It's quite amazing when they rang me up on the phone and said, yeah, you'll be getting an award today. So I was like, well, that's cool. Yeah. I'm quite proud of this award, and yeah, it's good. Yeah.
What do you think about your actions and what you did? Do you yourself consider them to be that to be an act of bravery?
Yeah, well, it was just instinct at the time, but I was fairly proud about what I did, and I just kind of thought, well, if someone else is in my shoes, would they have done the same thing? And yeah, hopefully it would.
So what was going through your head at the time when you just jumped into the water and you were trying to get this person out of the car? What were you thinking?
I'm not really too sure. It was really just went for it. I don't really know what I was thinking at the time. It was pretty adrenaline rushing.
Is it something you'd do again?
Oh, if it came down to it, yeah, I would. Yeah, without thinking twice.
The Invercargill suburb of Glengarry is set to have a facelift, with funding approved from the Urban Rejuvenation Project to upgrade the Yarrow Street car park. The concrete expanse is set to be enhanced with trees, greenery and low plantings. Flowers drawn at community market days are being made into large mosaics as art displays, and heritage fruit trees are also being planted. It's taken 2 years of work to get the makeover underway. Glengarry Community Action Group facilitator Rebecca Arminston applied for $81,000 in funding for the project.
We're still working on the finer details of the plans, but the funding for making the car park better has been accepted, so it'll be underway.
How did the car park design come about?
In July 2011 we had a community meeting, and people identified the first impression of Glengarry, which is the Yarrow Street car park, as the area that really needed something done about it. So soon after that excuse me, a group got together and started working on those plans. They engaged a landscape architect who helped out with ideas and things, and they put the ideas together, and from there we took it to the community through the community market, but through meetings and stuff as well, and asked people what they wanted here and how they wanted it to look. So they put stickers on things and said, more trees, more green, things like that, and the plan just developed from there.
So I understand that you have a few overnight campers here as well.
Yes, we do. It's a pretty popular car park for campers. We've got a dump station and a public toilet here and a place where they can fill up water. So we want to make the place look nicer for them as well. We also have the laundromat here, which is a self-service laundromat. So that's one of the reasons why they stay here often too.
So when does work start on this?
We're hoping that the road markings will happen in the next few days before Easter, and that the actual action will start happening maybe at the beginning of May.
So there's some other things happening in Glengarry too?
Yes, that's right. We've got a new shop opening up. So the SPCA are opening an op shop, and they're opening just after Easter as well. They're here today moving in, and so that's really exciting. And we're also getting some of the older children playground equipment from Surrey Park. That's going to be removed from there and brought over here into the playground here in Glengarry.
After the break, there's a new chief in the town of Riverton. Welcome back. The majority of retailers will again close their doors for trading this Easter, but some are expected to again flout trading laws. Trading laws force most businesses to close on Good Friday and Easter Sunday. Exceptions to the rule include some tourist areas, garden centres, dairies and service providers such as petrol stations. Last year the issue went before Parliament but failed to garner enough support for change. Southland Chamber of Commerce Chief Executive Richard Hayes says a few retail outlets will likely flout trading laws. He says Southlanders seem to have mixed feelings about Easter trading. A recent meeting to try and save the Riverton sound shower and encourage volunteers has proved fruitless, and the future of the iconic amphitheatre remains uncertain. That's according to Sound Shell Trust volunteer Karen Bickley, who says after leasing the sound shell for a decade, the maintenance and liabilities, including finding funds to pay rates, insurance and power, are proving too much for the small volunteer team.
The lease ran out last year, and we have as yet not re-signed. We have the option of signing again because our trust is not really strong enough for us to, and there is options. We may be able to talk with them into just giving us, a yearly lease and let it roll for a bit and see where we are, because basically we don't want this place to really be pulled down, because nothing else will ever be up like this. It's the only place around here that can hold this sort of a crowd, and I just think our young musicians need to come on board too, be part of the trust and try and organise some of their own gigs. And
you're having to clarify what, as a previous lease owner, just what your responsibilities are now that that lease has expired.
Well, we're not 100% sure exactly where we sit, and it might be quite good to go and just get some legal advice on it, but it seems to me that we're thought to be still responsible for the building and everything, even though we haven't got a signed lease, a current lease. Yeah, so that's got to be clarified.
So in the event of not having a lease, who is responsible for the building?
Well, I wouldn't be sure about that. That's something we would have to go and get some legal advice on.
Would it be the community board?
Whoever owns the building, I guess, but in fact the trust was set up to be caretaker for the sound shell, so there is a certain amount of responsibility on us if we've got a trust. If it turns out that we have to disband the trust to get rid of the liability clauses, we wouldn't really want to do that, because once the trust is gone, then it's going to be difficult for people to come on board and make the place run, unless the board actually advertises the lease out there in the public domain.
Riverton is set to have a new fire chief, but what makes this one special is that she's the first female fire chief in Southland and just the fourth in New Zealand. Helen Bull has been a volunteer firefighter for 22 years, moving up through the ranks, and at the end of the month she will take over from outgoing Riverton Fire Chief George Seater. The station's chief for the past 25 years, George says he hasn't seen a lot of change aside from policy. He says much of the same equipment's been used over his time. The biggest hurdle he has faced is acquiring and keeping volunteers. We asked him what he'll miss the most.
The people. Yeah, I've been coming to obviously coming to emergencies for a long time, so yeah, I'm going to miss not racing off to solve the world's problems.
Tell us about your replacement.
Helen's been in the brigade for over 20 years. When a chief takes office, they have to start looking at the succession. Who's going to take over for them when they move on for whatever reason, and I've been doing that for quite some years now, and looking at who was here and who was the best choice for the job, and then getting them into a position where because they have to be an officer. They have to hold an officer rank, so to get them promoted up and trained up to actually take over, it's taken a number of years for it to fall into place. Helen, she's the most appropriate for the job at this point in time. It's not because she's female. It's because she's the most capable for the job.
And you've moved up through the ranks and you're taking over from George. You're looking forward to being in that position and what it brings to you?
In a way, he keeps telling me how much hard work there is and how much time you don't have. But I think it will be a good challenge, and as long as the brigade, we all work as a team, we should be able to get it done and support each other.
Do you have any plans for any changes here?
No, I'm sort of looking at giving everyone a sort of like part to play in the brigade, and they all feel like a team effort. So only just delegating small jobs and stuff like that.
And that's it from the news desk this evening. Coming up in sport, both team captains on last night's dramatic finish to the Test series between the Black Caps and England. That's following the weather next. Good night.